let's get into it. Let's get into the best segment, the greatest segment in all of sports media. Game balls and jock straps. I'm going to get an intro together for that, and hopefully we'll premiere it for next week. But didn't quite have the time to get it finished today. Anthony, I'm going to start with you. Give me your game ball.
Yes, it's going to come as a surprise because I've been very kind of rough on him this year. But it's Jalen Ramsey. I thought Jalen Ramsey is just finally looking like the superstar that we hoped he would be this year. He didn't get burnt downfield in any significant way this game. So it's the first time in a while. So congratulations on that. But moreover, I want to talk about like his contributions in the pass rush because I feel like without him, our pass rush is almost nothing. Like he consistently on a corner rush either disrupts the quarterback by hitting him or gets his hands in the quarterback's face enough where either he swats it away or the quarterback just can't see, especially in the case of Gardner Minshew, and he breaks up the play. And then, I know the interception at the end of the game was virtually thrown right to him, but that's exactly what we needed in that moment is to close out this team. We didn't need to let a young team like the Raiders, who are scrappy and have a quarterback who I think has the propensity to lead an improbable comeback. And Jalen just kind of gets in there. He gets it done. He gets the pick, which I'm pretty sure is probably the receiver's fault. Looked like he turned the wrong way. Doesn't matter. He still got it.
Hey, you still got to make the catch.
Still got to make the catch. I just thought all around he had a fantastic day. At one point, they did put him on Bowers, and you didn't see Bowers for a while. And then of course, they shifted off of that. Like, oh, well, maybe we'll try the other guys again, and that didn't work out.
Yeah, and so, Josh, in the first half, you were saying put Jalen Ramsey on Bowers, and Anthony, they did it. You didn't see Bowers for a while. Took him off. He is, and
he's our best defender.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry,
no, you're right. That's exactly what I was about to say. Like,
talent-wise.
Well, Calais Campbell and Zach Steeler, they get all the accolades. They get all of our love because I think we all,
rightfully so,
we all love the big guys, And
I love the big uglies.
Yeah, the big uglies. But Jalen Ramsey is our best, most talented defender, and he played like that in the Raiders game.
Yeah, I mean, I think a perfect showing of the type of leader and player that he is for this team. Look at the final 2 tackles that he made. He didn't, the end of the game, the clock was running.
Yep.
He made sure to tackle each player. It was it was the running back, and I think it was Brock Bowers, back to back. He made sure to tackle them backwards, inbound, so that the clock kept running. And for him to do that, he had to run across the field to make that tackle instead of, dude, we're up by like 3 touchdowns. I'm just gonna phone it in. He put his helmet into the chest of the player and made sure that the clock kept running. Those are the kind of plays that we need to see, because those are the kind of plays, in my opinion, that invigorate and show the younger players this is how it's done.
Yeah,
just smart football, right? I mean, it's always amazing to see smart football, and he doesn't always play the smartest, but in this instance, in this game, he had the game of his year, I think.
Yeah.
And those 2 plays, they personify it.
It's great to see smart football from a team that doesn't always play smart football.
I would say rarely, honestly.
Yeah. All right, Steve, who's your game ball for this one?
I mean, he gets one every week. Devon Achane. He's obviously one of the brightest spots that Miami has, and probably the brightest spot on offense. If with the injuries we've had to Tua, you can't really say he's been our bright spot. With a healthier Tua, that could be argued. But Achane had a good receiving game. He had a great running game. He exploded through holes, broke tackles, fought for extra yards. He really did everything you want in a running back when he has the ball in his hands. And the touchdown he scored was awesome. I thought it was awesome. He negated the hole that got filled up, got clogged up, bounced to the outside, outran the defenders, scored an untouched touchdown in the fourth quarter that made it 24-12. I thought at that time that was pretty much a game-sealing touchdown with, how long our drives have been taken, 8-minute drive here, 8-minute drive there. And I think there was only 6 or 7 minutes left in the game. So I was pretty much like, game's out of reach. Obviously it wasn't, but I do believe no, yeah, they still beat them with that 24 because Raiders only had 19. But either way, it was a game capping touchdown. Probably one of my favorites for the game right there.
Yeah, and true Fin fan. I believe
Yep.
Achane is the best offensive player.
Agree.
I
I think we'll all agree with you there.
I wrote it on my pad.
Yeah.
Yep.
It must be
It's in,
true.
it's in my notes. It must be true.
The pad doesn't lie.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we're in agreement there, Steve. You know, Achane, in spite of the fact that he didn't get the holes opened up for him by Alec Ingold, and we talked about that, but he was out there balling out, man. He had a couple of runs that were just spectacular. And his speed is kind of unmatched on this team, even by
It's wild.
yeah.
On a team as fast as we are, the fact that he notably stands out from a speed standpoint is insane.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
actually,
insane.
I would like to add something to that CMC thing. I see where you're also coming from, Josh, but I think CMC is just so strong. I don't see Achane consistently running through the people he attempts to run through as young as he is. The older he gets, I think he's going to get away from that, where CMC kind of still lives on hitting the hole and somebody through the hole. I see Achane more of kind of getting into more of a Reggie Bush kind of role, catching the ball out of the backfield, getting better with his hands, finding the open space and getting the speed there.
Yeah. I mean, I love seeing the checkdowns, man. Like that was one thing that I think Anthony, all of us at some point in the group chat were screaming for. Like, just stop force feeding it to Waddle and Hill. Use them as decoys. You know, like check it down until they stop it.
Yeah.
And then it opens up the deep pass, and it's been awesome to see.
He had 4 receptions for 32 yards. And I mean, the 32 yards aren't a whole lot of yards, but they were big yards every time he caught it. They were the most important 32 yards or all 4 of those receptions were important ones.
I think we mentioned it last week. They are getting real good at that swing pass.
They really are.
Yeah.
It's looking sweet.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
And
talk about leading a player perfectly into a full sprint. It's been beautiful.
Yeah. And to your point, Josh, you know, you continue to check it down to these guys. You continue to check it down to Jonnu, or whether it's Achane or even Malik Washington, who has shown flashes. You check it down to these guys. It's going to open up this big passing game. It's going to open up these big plays that they've been lacking this year. We haven't had many big plays. We had that one, the Tyreek in week 1, where he kind of caught it and outran everybody. But you know, other than that, it hasn't been Ferraris. It's been Ford Focuses and Honda Civics.
I love it.
I think you made the best point before, Keith, is that they're all playing cover 2. They're taking away the deep outs that we love to run. And you know, Jonah was invisible in the first 2 games with Tua, and now he's a part of the offense because Tua's had to grow and adapt, and McDaniel's had to adapt with his play calling, and you know, they're starting to run a more traditional offense, which you know, from a fan standpoint, we loved seeing the flash and the glitz and stuff last year, but we didn't win anything because of it. So I don't know. It's really good to see them adjusting things to not just to be traditional, but just to work better, to get more people involved. Like your tight end should not be invisible for 60 minutes, right? Like he should have some role.
Well, he definitely had a role this week, and I'm sure somebody will touch on him in a minute.
Yeah. So Josh, give me your game ball.
Yeah, my game ball, I actually bounced between 4 players. Well, 3 players and a group of players. And landed finally on Chop. You know, I rewatched the game a few times, and you know, I'll be honest, statistically was very negligible. Oh, I can't say that word, sorry. But I think that this was his best game as a Miami Dolphin. I think that the last 3 games, you've seen why he was a first-round pick. His get off to what you mentioned earlier, Keith, the fact that his run support and his run defense game has been, I mean, it's night and day from where it was when we started the season. He's just like Jalen Phillips, Anthony, like you said, he's this season, he's this close to getting 8 sacks,
Yeah.
right? Which is awesome. I mean, that means next year when he learns how to not arm tackle, and
Yeah.
when he gets a full off season in the strength and conditioning program of a true professional franchise, I think that's when he starts. Second year, third year is when he starts turning the corner. But it was absolutely incredible. I mean, he didn't get a lot of play because I think of Las Vegas is 12 personnel, 2 tight end sets. I think that required more other players with different skill sets to play in that. But the play time that he did get this game, it was, I mean, I honed in on him like Anthony because we were so high on him in the offseason. And it's been really cool to see the evolution every single game. And I wrote down on my notes, I said, like Tua, and I'm reading this, every game so far this year that he's played in, him being Chop, he has seemingly gotten better at something and layered them together. And that's how I really genuinely believe that this was his best game so far.
Yeah. I'm excited about Chop for maybe the first time, honestly, because, and then you pair him with Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb, and suddenly next season, this Dolphins pass rush is going to give quarterbacks nightmares.
Well, I think there's going to be some massive changes, but we'll talk about that in the offseason. I think two of those 3 players are not going to be on this team next year.
Ooh, okay. That's a spicy take. But we will save that for later on.
Yes.
I really and we'll get to the comment in a sec, but I wanted to comment on Chop's like best pass rush. At one point, he literally took the right tackle and threw him aside like he was a bag of potatoes. Like the dude went tumbling down the field, and Chop was just right on Minshew, and Minshew threw it away, unfortunately. But like, I mean, the raw power all of a sudden from a speed rusher, it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, and this is what they were talking about when they said this guy was an athletic freak coming out of Penn State.
Oh yeah. Yep.
This is exactly what they were talking about. And of course I saw it. I saw the athletic traits. I didn't know he was going to put it together this fast.
Yeah.
This is cool to see.
It didn't look like it in the first 6 games of the season.
That's
for
it didn't.
It sure didn't.
It did.
But it's so crazy that you can see. It's so crazy when you see somebody with untapped potential, kind of that light switch finally clicking over, or that light bulb going, or whatever analogy you want to use. It's such an amazing thing to see.
Yeah. Chop Robinson's pressure rate is actually among the best in the league amongst rookies.
Yep.
Not sure.
I did see that. It was second to Verse over in the Rams.
Yeah.
Florida State, baby.
Jason Taylor didn't arrive till year 3. Patience. Yeah. And I think that's what we have to have. We have to have a little patience. And
I mean, don't forget this fan base, this fickle fan base, was ready to throw Phillips out after year 1.
Yeah.
Oh, he's garbage. Oh, he's not what he was touted to be. He's always injured. Now look at him. You know what I mean? And I see Steve. I love Steve's little subtle like.
In our defense, we still have PTSD from Deion Jordan.
I was just thinking that.
And Charles Harris.
Oh God.
Charles Harris and Deion Jordan. Oh my gosh.
The next segment, you guys will know why I'm just not talking. It's so
Jared
relatable to
Odrick too.
everything
Jared
this whole
Odrick.
game.
There's 3 of them.
I mean, look, Jared Odrick though. I was a not so closet fan of him.
He was bad.
Bad. He wasn't as bad as the other 2.
That's true. He wasn't as bad as the other 2.
Look, how the hell do you trade with the Raiders of all teams? You give them you trade your first and a third to trade up to the number 3 overall pick, and all you come out with is Deion Jordan. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. And I thought we were getting Lane Johnson with that pick.
I wanted Lane Johnson so bad.
Yeah. So to just get into my game ball, it's okay. Just getting into my game ball real quick. I'm going with Johnny. I'm going with Jonnu Smith. Jonnu Smith, and this is a stat that I think you pointed out to me, Josh, that was originally featured on the Pat McAfee show. Jonnu Smith is the first Dolphins tight end with over 100 yards receiving and 2 touchdowns in one game.
In the history of the franchise.
In the history of the franchise. Yeah. And, we went through all the Dolphins tight ends in our chat. We went through all the Dolphins tight ends throughout the past. And it's not a who's who of Hall of Fame tight ends. It's not like we're not talking about Tony Gonzalez is here. We're not talking about Gronk's here, but there are guys like Randy McMichael, guys like
Anthony
Charles
Fasano.
Clay, Anthony
Yep.
Fasano. You would have thought one of these guys would have.
Oh, shit, even Mike Gesicki, who was a 6'5", gazelle.
Yeah,
He already has 100 yards and 2 touchdowns with the Bengals.
yeah. How about it? So, yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's my game ball, and I thought about giving it to Tua. Tua played another efficient game. He played another game where he was able to avoid a couple of rushes, get outside the pocket, make some plays. The touchdown pass through to Tyreek Hill, loved it. 3 touchdown passes, yeah, Josh. But the touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill where he just moved outside the pocket, kind of ran parallel to the line of scrimmage, and threw a dart to Tyreek Hill in the end zone. It was just
it was beautiful.
This is what we were looking for from Tua last year. These are the kind of plays we were hoping he would be making.
This is Alabama Tua.
Yes.
Yeah, I think he's sneaky athletic. He's not Josh Allen. He's not Lamar Jackson, but he has the athleticism to escape the pocket.
That's also what you get with a Tyreek and a Jalen Waddle. In multiple occasions, those two saw their quarterback in distress and went and helped him. And like that same play that you're talking about with Tyreek getting that touchdown, Odell was there. He didn't make a single move back towards the quarterback. He was like, "Oh, I guess I'm not open." And he just stood there. I mean, Tyreek, meanwhile, is on the other side of the field and is like, "Oh crap!" It bolts over and gets open for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
Yeah, and it's great to see. And again, this isn't an aspect the Dolphins offense had last year. Tua wasn't escaping the pocket and making plays. He wasn't, and if he was throwing a wildly inaccurate football.
Mm-hmm.
But this year he's worked on that. That's something he clearly worked on in the offseason, and we kind of didn't see the fruits of that labor until he came back from his injury.
Yeah, and I think that him losing as much weight as he lost also helps because he stacked on poundage to stay healthy.
Yeah, and you don't want your quarterback to be built like a linebacker.
No, of course not. And I know we're like a little past where we should be from a time standpoint, but I thought this was really, really cool. And Keith, I'm not sure if you were going to mention that Jonnu toss with the game ball. If you want to mention it, I'll leave it in your hands.
Go ahead.
I just thought this was some like voodoo wizard crap. It blew my mind when I saw it. So on the first touchdown, right, that he got, he in celebration just blindly back to the crowd, chucked it in the air in celebration. The ball landed in the lap of his family, but not just his family, of his eldest son, who told him, "I want you to score a touchdown for me today, Dad." How crazy is that?
Unbelievable story. He deserves the game ball. Yeah. I was going to give it to Tua, then I had to give it to Jonnu. And Keith Jackson, Randy McMichael, Keith Byers. Keith Byers was a fullback, I believe. I don't think he was a tight end. But
I think he was I think he was an old school version of an H-back where he played both.
Fair enough.
Yeah, kind of like Charles
tight end, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you expect, but again, you expect one of these guys to have gone over 100 yards and gotten 2 TDs in a game in the entire history of the Miami Dolphins, and especially during the Marino era. Come on, but it never happened. So Donna's the first. He gets my game ball. I'm going to move right into my jock strap. I know we're going a little bit over in time here, so I'm going to get right into my jock strap. My jock strap goes to. And truthfully, you guys all took my jock strap. So, but going into this.
You can say mine if you want.
My jock strap's going to go to Kader Kohou. He missed a couple tackles in this game that were big tackles. My jock strap goes to the tackling on this team in general because they didn't do a very good job of it. They had plays. There was a play on Amir Abdullah that would have been a loss or a short gain. And Amir Abdullah just kind of did a minor juke and got around him, arm tackle. This was a problem. This was not a problem that the Dolphins have had up until this game. They've been actually a pretty sound tackling team. This game did not play out like that. They need to tackle better moving forward. So Kader Kohou, Storm Duck missed a couple tackles. the linebackers that they need to tackle better moving forward because they ain't going to get it done against some of these opponents they're going to be playing in the future.
So
Um,
it was the fourth thing I wrote down, and then later in the game I put a star next to it. It says Kohu out here tackling like a traffic dummy
yeah,
because he just runs up to the guy and falls over. Like,
Yep.
what is he doing?
And on that same play that you mentioned, Keith, what the hell, Cam Smith, I think it was, might have been Storm Dutt. One of them broke the wrong way,
yeah,
which led to that one-on-one open field miss. Because theoretically, if two players are running, it would have turned the Abdullah inwards instead of outwards. But yeah, he doesn't get a pass.
no, and those are plays you have to make. You had Amir Abdullah, who's he's shifty, he's decent, he's my buddy Jameson, who might be watching tonight. He's a Nebraska alum, and he loves Amir Abdullah. Loved him since he came in the league. Man, he's a mid running back. He's a mid-tier running back. You got to make that play. You got to make
garbage. If your friends, if your boy's listening, he's garbage. No, I'm kidding.
The Lions kept trying so hard to get it back like that too. Amir Abdullah, then DeAndre Swift, now Jameer Gibbs. They just kept trying until they found one.
Yeah,
perfect marriage though between Montgomery and them right now.
Yeah, seriously. So yeah, my game ball goes to Cater Kohu and the tackling and my jock strap. Sorry, yeah, they don't get the game ball. No, the jock strap.
You get a stinky one.
Yes. Steve, who's your jock strap go to?
So I'm really happy you went before me because I'm giving mine to Anthony Weaver, and you really covered a bunch of things that I was going to cover. He's got this team tackling like a bunch of pool torpedoes. Like everybody's heads down, they're just diving, and nobody knows where they're going. So it doesn't look like it's organized football out there when we're tackling like that. Even Ramsey likes to tackle that way, but for some reason he can just time it right to where he's successful with it. Just throwing his body in front of somebody. Yeah. But I hate that. And it seems like we're kind of leaning that way. And also, Anthony Weaver seems to be stuck in a zone, not like a good zone, like a zone on the field. And I think we can switch to man.
Against this team, we couldn't, though. When you're running 12 personnel, you can't. Not with our personnel. You can't. I don't think you can.
I mean, I'm against it, but I think he can. I mean, Jalen Ramsey excels in man-to-man coverage. Mm-hmm. Kendall Fuller is a man-to-man coverage corner as well.
Yeah, he didn't play in this one.
I'm just saying the corners that we do have.
Normally, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. Cam Smith is a man cover guy. Like Kohu is apparently a man cover guy, and we're playing zone constantly. You know what I mean? We're getting zone beat. Like Brock Bowers is just somebody's got to be on his hip, but we're just letting him find the soft spots in between everything. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, me personally, it doesn't. There's no pressure on Minshew. So when you're
I think I disagree with that. I thought we got tons of pressure on Minshew.
We had 3 sacks, but really, you don't. I would have rather. I didn't. I feel like I saw Minshew comfortable more than I didn't.
Yeah, I will say our defensive line tackles and plays very well, but our secondary needs to figure it the hell out.
The 3 sacks we did get were good, but the pressure wasn't imminent. Like a couple guys were getting good pressure, but he wasn't under distress. It didn't seem like he had a whole lot of worry back there. And then when he did get tackled, it was just good, quick. I believe one was a drug out. Man, the game was Sunday. It's Wednesday. You know what I'm saying? But I can't remember every tackle, but I do remember that it didn't look like it was in my notes too, that it just kind of looked like he had some more time than I thought he should have.
Well, True Fin Fan agrees with you. Keith Byers was a fullback and a tight end. My mistake on that one, guys. Jock strap goes to the coaching. So Weaver, like you were saying, Steve. Weaver not stopping the only weapon the Raiders had last Sunday. Yeah. And again, I think it was Anthony's point, they put Ramsey on Brock Bowers for a little while, and then Brock Bowers kind of went away in this game, and then they took him off, and suddenly Brock Bowers is back to terrorizing us. There had to have been a better way. There's a better way to coach this football game, and Anthony Weaver didn't find it because the Raiders kept on moving the ball on us, man, and this team should not be moving. Like, I know our defense hasn't been great, but our defense is better than their offense. Defense should have been – the Raiders' offense shouldn't have moved the ball with the ease that they did against our defense.
Mhm.
And I put that on Weaver. I agree with you there, Steve. Anthony, who gets your jockstrap in this one?
Yeah, to go to what True Fin Fan was saying against Arizona, we saw Trey McBride tear us apart, and at that time I said, maybe if Walker were in there for long, this would have been a different story. I could not have been more wrong because Anthony Walker Jr. and Brooks, whose first name I'm blanking on, Jordan Brooks, absolutely destroyed in this game. If you just look at the stat line, it looks like they had a fine day. 13 tackles, 10 tackles. They must have been crushing it. Yeah, they were crushing it, all right. They were letting Brock Bowers run all over the place on them. It didn't matter. It wasn't just him. Anybody who lined up in the backfield and went out to the flat for a catch easily had 10 yards. I mean, these guys were just not in this game on Sunday. It was absolutely horrific to watch. Like, at one point, they line up Brock Bowers in the backfield. And in my mind, an amateur football watcher who is just a fan, I'm thinking to myself, watch out. Bowers is in the backfield. Like, they're swinging that to him, right? Not our defense. No way. They don't even notice.
No, let's take 10 steps back before we make a decision.
Unbelievable. I mean, sometimes I think they're just way over their heads, or they're overthinking it, or there's too much going on. I don't know what their language looks like, right? So I'm a big fan of coaches who simplify things. They seem to be the most successful coaches in the league. It doesn't need to be rocket science here. You can make it simple and still succeed. So to these two, I hope you have better days ahead, because this was the most atrocious ball I've seen from our middle linebacker group in a while. And hopefully we don't have any major tight ends to face again, because Jesus, we're in trouble.
Yeah, we got a few. We got
do.
one or two.
Yeah. We do.
Oh, we got Kittle. Crap. I hope Kittle's out.
And Njoku. I mean, I know he's on a crappy team, but
Hunter Henry's a good tight end for New England. We have him next week.
He's their leading receiver. We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
But he's the Patriots' leading receiver right now.
Yeah. So bad game overall, Anthony. I agree. And like I said, you guys were stealing you guys all said your jock straps first, and it was like, yep, that's a good one. That's a good one. And Josh, your jock strap is just
three weeks in a row.
The ultimate jock strap.
Golden plated.
The jock strap of all jock straps.
It's the stinkiest golden plated. Yeah.
So lay it on us, man.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 2 words and then we can move on. Okay. I don't need to talk about this. I'm so tired of talking about this guy again. Jordan Poyer, done. Let's move on.
Bench him. Oh, I added 2 words.
I agree. I'll also add 2 words.
A piece of agree. No, I'm kidding. That's 3 words.
Yeah. No, he's a Bills sleeper agent or something. I don't understand. Bad.
I think what I'm gonna say, I said I was gonna stop, but I gotta get this off my chest. Something that bothered me in the offseason was Jordan Poyer coming out and puffing out his chest and saying, and I've said this, I think I said this last show, coming out and saying, oh, the Dolphins' perspective when I was with the Bills, the perspective of the Dolphins was that they were soft mentally. Bro, you can't say that and then come and play like dog shit. And I know I'm not supposed to cuss on here, and I apologize to the young fans that are listening to this, but you can't say that and talk like that and act like your crap doesn't stink and then come and play like dog duty. You know what I mean?
Well, and be soft mentally yourself.
Horrible.
It's not just physical errors that he's making, it's mental errors. The hit he made on Keon Coleman that cost the Dolphins a lot of field position that
cost us the game.
Ultimately took advantage of, mental errors where when you need to be aggressive, you're meek. When you need to play off a guy, you need to be a little more meek. You're more aggressive. Mentally, let's see. Yeah. Oh, thank you, True Fin Fan. We appreciate it.
That was a real squirrel moment there, Keith.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Something shiny.
No, I thought he was going to add something about Jordan Poyer, but Jordan Poyer he's been so bad. And I know we said we weren't going to spend a lot of time on it, but it warrants being said time and time and time again. Every time this guy's on the field, he's making a bad play.
Well, what did I say in the chat?
He's a negative.
In our personal text chain. What did I say? Can anyone remember about Poyer?
A lot of Poyer stuff in that chat. I don't know, man.
Yeah.
He is going to be my jockstrap every single week until he proves that he's not. Sorry to break it to you fans for you want some diversity. Well, we got 3 other hosts. Mine will forever and always be Jordan Poyer every single week.
Yeah. He'll be off the Dolphins 6 years from now. He'll still be my jockstrap.
Very much so. Yeah.